Welcome to Convention Reviews. Today we'll be talking about Nekocon 2025. This is an annual anime convention that occurs in the Hampton, Virginia area, traditionally over the Halloween weekend. The event is held at the Hampton Roads Convention Center, where it's been held for the last 20 years, and this year's theme for the convention was cyberpunk, with many panels talking about various cyberpunk or sci-fi-esque themes. One thing I've really come to enjoy about this convention is that they have a lot of very creative signage related to their mascots throughout the convention, which is really interesting to see how they kind of implement it over the years. And they actually had a nice little display table of a lot of their past magazines and other related materials, which is really nice to see a large collection of their old con books, kind of showing the history of the convention over the many years it's been running. They also had quite a few dedicated rooms to a lot of tabletop gaming, such as D&D and Pathfinder, as well as LARP, really kind of showing that they've really kind of diversified out from just the typical panel rooms you see at a lot of other conventions. One unique feature of this year's convention was the fact that they also offered a coloring book as well as kind of a VIP experience, which they've been kind of experimenting with over the last couple of years, which essentially gives you like a con book as well as some other featured perks for some particular individuals. Besides the convention rooms, they also had a really interesting cosplay area for the contest, as well as a ongoing Carolina manga library, which has been attending this convention for quite a few years, really having a really great selection of books, as well as picture books and color spreads that really is quite impressive compared to a lot of other libraries I've seen over time. Definitely a really interesting feature to this particular convention. Another interesting feature of this convention was the voice actors who were invited this year, many of which are longtime veterans of the anime industry, such as Tony Oliver and Wendy Lee, who have been in the industry for many decades, to say the least. And many of them shared their knowledge of working in the industry over time, which was really very insightful for a lot of younger fans who may not know about a lot of things behind the scenes of the ADR scene. Another guest that was invited was the band Kazaa, who performed at least 2 different sets throughout the weekend, which was pretty interesting to say the least too. One thing that actually is really interesting about this convention is that Nekocon puts a large focus on anime music videos, or their AMV track. They have a really interesting coordinator who was given a lot of free rein to do a lot of interesting topics around here, from getting people into the hobby as well as various other projects, from the more competition-based to more after dark, which was very fun to say the least. Another cool aspect of Nekocon is that they have multiple MCs that host the convention's many key main stage events, whether it be the masquerade or introduce opening and closing ceremonies, or even the Idol Fest, which is really quite well attended even on a Sunday afternoon, really showing some really great talent that a lot of these performers work towards, which I've really come to enjoy over the years of going to these events. Another cool feature of the convention is that there is a really large game room on the second floor of the event center, which really hosts a variety of gaming tournaments, as well as has a really cool corner dedicated to Toho games, which has become a very popular fixture of this particular event. Another really cool aspect of Nekocon is that they have a small Itasha car rally that occurs over the weekend, which they've kind of put into like a little side parking lot towards the front of the building, which about over the weekend, about 4 or 5 of the drivers ended up coming to the event, which was really cool to kind of see their Itasha wraps. There actually was a panelist who did talk about the Itasha wraps as well, which if you were trying to get into it, which is kind of a cool thing. And, I think this is starting to become a lot more of a cool aspect of a lot of conventions, even outside of the anime space, which is pretty fun. But for me, one of the things that I really enjoy the most about Nekocon is that they really pride themselves in high-quality academic panel track content, which is really something that keeps me coming back year to year. And they really have a wide variety of panelists, from more professional ones like Fatal Fanatics, to people that really focus in a lot of really interesting aspects of looking at the deeper meanings behind certain titles, more history-based stuff, as well as anime that is more popular right now, like Apothecary Diaries, as well as some interesting video game history as well. There really was, like I said, a really wide variety of stuff, even within cyberpunk as well. There were some really great panelists this year as well. And there really is constantly new added stuff, so every year it's something new that's not really the same stale panels that you often see at some other conventions, which is really kind of a really interesting thing that I look forward to almost every year. Overall, Nekocon is a really great convention at the end of the year, and really for the size of the event, holds roughly about 7,000 people, and the size of the event space itself, it doesn't feel too crowded. Almost the right size, one might say. And I will say that, whether you're a, newbie to the convention scene or somebody that is a veteran as well to these events, it's really worth checking out if you haven't had a chance. But if you've been to this event, please let me know, and we'll see you again on the next convention review.